first rooster flew up again, stumbled down, and ran in breathless, wing pumping, panic before the silent dog. Always the dog was under or behind him. The rooster ran out before him, mouth grabbing, his breath coming out of his open beak in hoarse, pained gaps. He somehow forced himself up into the last short flight, but he could hardly rise himself above the wheat stalks. At last, the rooster felt the familiar packed ground of the barnyard. He stumbled towards the ram. The ram was crowded with chickens. The rooster wobbled away again, staggered up the rise from the deep barnyard to the yard of the house. He managed to squirm around the corner of the house, squatted there, wheezing painfully, eyes closed. The dog poked his nose around the corner of the house. In the desperate strength of terror, the rooster held up, flew into the unseen chicken wire around the little Pernip's garden. He caught his neck in the opening of the chicken wire. He uttered a deep squeak, thrashed his wings, and hung still. The dog came trotting after. He reared up, leaned against the fencing, and sniffed at the dead rooster. Then, to his ears, came the first rattle of the old car from the old road. The dog dropped to the ground, hurried away to hide in the barn. In the far field, the beaten little hen heard the old car come rattling. She raised her head and saw the white egg the dog had dropped in the grass. Forgetting her hurt, she got up and immediately ran, fussing with the egg. She hooked her bill behind it, pulled it free from the grass tufts, and rolled the egg towards her secret nest under the willow tree. She worked the egg over the rim of the nest until at last, with flame click, it rolled down inside her own egg. Then the little hen steadied herself on the two eggs. She clacked a little motherly sound at the two lovely eggs under her. She was proud of her eggs, and her hurt was forgotten. The man saw the rooster at the moment. He stepped from the car and he hurried over, pulled the dead rooster out of the fencing, and felt it still warm. He felt under the rooster's feathers. Hastily, he began to pluck the still warm carcass, stripping the feathers away. Again, he examined the rooster, and now he found the bite marks, tiny sharp punches in the one wing. The man shook his head. Something bit him, all right. But that bite wasn't enough to kill him. It looks as though he tore away from whatever bit him. And then he got chased into the fence and broke his neck. But then, why didn't whatever chased him take the rooster anyway? He looked at the leaning, staggering fence. Maybe the man guessed loud. Whatever it was got scared away by my coming. And if this wasn't a queer mystery, I then passed it to the side of the rooster's bloodied bill. He saw the tiny red feathers of the little hen. The man ran to the barnyard and looked around for the little hen. She was not amongst the few hens in the barnyard, but now the rest of the flock came down from the hen house, crowded around the man, and began a hungry humming. Sure, I know you are starved, but I forgot to put out food for the little hen too, and she isn't here. Wait until I dress this rooster, then I'll feed you in the coop and lock you up for the night. At the pump, the man grabbed a pail threw the rooster's carcass in it, and he pumped cold water over it. Suddenly he listened. Above and beyond, the impatient, hungry hen sounds humming up from the barnyard. From far over the swamp, a hawk screamed In the evening stillness, distant and thin as it was, the cry came proud and vengeful. "Hawks," the man explained. "I don't know," he said. He sat down to the rooster in the pail. "If now with you gone, the hawks will stay over the swamp. That's one thing you did perfectly, you grim fool." Worn and perfect, the flock from the hawks. A small red feather came gently rising to the surface of the water in the pail. The man looked at it. You got what you had coming," he said softly to the dead rooster. "My thanks to whatever did it. If it hadn't, I would have killed you for killing my little hen." The hawk screamed again above the swamp. "Hey! You don't suppose the hawks got the little hen? Maybe after you beat her half to death." The man stood listening. "I'll feed the flock and then I'll take the flashlight and go look for her in the swamp." He suddenly decided, "Or whatever killed her," he added grimly. So we're going to continue from chapter 7.